Welcome to the live call-in show. Chelsea took on Arsenal yesterday, and it was a 1-1 draw in the end. An even battle. I think, to be honest, most people agree it was a fair result. I can't really complain that we didn't win the game, but I would have loved to have won the game. Shout out to Amelie as well. Wasn't that meant to have that logo there, but download Amelie anyway. And big up to everyone that's been watching the channel. And we've got a live call-in show for all of you. So we're going to be breaking down everything about the game. What was good, what wasn't good, and what would we change in the future? Is there anything that we disagree on? I think that this is one of the chances for us to really understand what Enzo Maresca is trying to do at Chelsea. And then we can see if actually we agree with it or not, because I agree with a lot of what he does and have since he's come in. But there's aspects of what he's been doing that I didn't agree with yesterday. So it'll be good to break that down. Big up to everyone that's in the chat. Muka, I hope you're doing well, mate. Kashan as well. Big up from Jamaica. We've got 50 of you in the building, about 25 on each X and YouTube. Let's get straight up to 20 likes on the video, guys. Smash the like button, and big up to everyone that's been watching. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, guys, I feel I'm not going to sit here and say I was super angry after we didn't beat Arsenal, but I was disappointed. But I also felt like there was an element of a fight in this team. I mean, we went down in the game and our heads didn't drop. We came back and we did do something. We made an impact, but it just wasn't enough to get everything through. Arsenal, from their perspective, if they think that they are challenging for a title this season, then they got some serious problems. Because as far as I was concerned, that wasn't a title challenging performance from Mikel Arteta's team. This was the battle of who wants to finish fourth. And as far as I'm concerned, we're pretty even in that aspect. Imagine if Arsenal didn't have Martin Odegaard in this game. Can you imagine that? They would be in massive trouble. You know, when I spoke with an Arsenal fan earlier on, he said, yeah, but we didn't have Calafiori, our left back, who we paid 40 million for. Well, hang on a second. Last season, we didn't have Nkunku, we didn't have Lavia, we didn't have Reece James for the majority of the season. And we still managed to, well, we certainly didn't push for the title, but, you know, we were competitive. Let's just put it like that. We were competitive. Not every week, but generally speaking, we were competitive. And Arsenal, they've got to be more than that if they're going to push for a title. They've got to show their class. No class in that team whatsoever. They have no class from the management. They have no class in terms of the players on the pitch. Kai Havertz, the fact that this man rocks up to Stamford Bridge. And by the way, he's already scored against Chelsea. Let's just make that really clear. He's already scored against Chelsea and celebrated at the Emirates. We knew he was going to celebrate at Stamford Bridge. Screw Kai Havertz, man. He's horrible. Horrible people. Arsenal fans are the worst fans you'll ever meet. They're on. It's like this. The worst fans ever. You got Panathinaikos. Those are the worst fans in the history of football. Very, very close behind Arsenal. So it's Panathinaikos, Arsenal, and yeah, that's where I stand on it. And I mean, if we're going down to the younger generations, if I see people that are younger than sort of 25 and they're a Man City fan, I think, bloody hell, what are you doing? Why do you support this team? Who do you watch the game with? There's no Man City fans out there. There's probably Panathinaikos, Arsenal, Man City, but only the younger generation. I've got to respect the older generation of Man City fans because at least you've been through it a little bit. But then what am I supposed to do? I mean, I'm quite young. I'm a Chelsea fan. I started supporting the team when we were great. But listen, the past couple of years has been a real decline, but there's only so low you can go before the only way is up. And we are on the trajectory to making that climb, that comeback, and actually proving that, and I'm not going to sit here and defend the owners because I've criticized them, but I don't think they were as bad as everyone else did. I said that this season was a defining moment for the ownership, whether they really wanted success at Chelsea. Was there really that ambition? And when we didn't sign Victor Osimhen, a lot of people said no, there's no ambition. But there's also a part of the fan base that went, well, that's actually quite smart. You don't want a player breaking your structure You've built everything in a certain way. Why would you change it? So in that perspective, I think maybe you could, there's an argument to be had. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts on the game were. I mean, it's interesting when you look at the comments after the game. Enzo Maresca was actually pretty happy with the performance. He said he enjoyed it. Absolutely, the performance was good. We know them quite well, and we competed pretty well. The performance is very important for us in this moment, and it was good. We can rest and go again. He also said the performance from Pedro Neto was very good. All of them complete. We played in the way we wanted to, brave, and to try and play from the back always. He also had a lot of praise for Moises Caicedo, who we're going to speak plenty about, I can imagine, on here, saying he's been a top professional ever since he arrived, and he's playing fantastic. And also he was happy with how we were defensively. Apart from the goal we conceded, he thought defensively we were very good. And, except for that goal, everything else was great. He mentioned this is the way that we want to do things. We try and play face-to-face against every team. We are Chelsea, so it's important to send this message. There are managers that have been at clubs for 5 or 9 years, so we are behind them. We've got a lot of catching up to do, but I think we're certainly on track as it stands. Enzo Maresca also said we can compete no matter what the competition, despite the fact there are clubs like Arsenal that have had the same manager for 5 years. We are behind, but it doesn't mean we're not going to compete. So almost like a repetition, really, of that other one. Mikel Arteta had quite a lot to say, but I mean, I would as well if my job was on the line. He said, Chelsea destroy every team that come here in every way, but I thought we were superb. We were very unlucky. We have dominated one of the best teams in Europe, but we don't get the results. That is what was missing. It's an interesting description of the game from Arteta, saying that they dominated us. I mean, I'm not sure what game he was watching. I don't think that was domination by any stretch. I mean, if I went over and looked at the stats on this game, and I actually haven't, in fairness, but I could imagine it's relatively even. And funny enough, when I look at the stats, it is quite that. And I'm going to share my screen with you quickly, and we're just going to address that because Mikel Arteta. I mean, I'll show you the comment first of all, just so you know I'm not lying. He said Chelsea destroy every team that comes here in every way. But I thought we were superb. I mean, this is a load of rubbish. Arsenal, and I spoke to people after the game, a lot of people said that Arsenal were rubbish. And I felt, well, I'm not going to sit here and say they were rubbish. If they were that bad, we would have beaten them. But Chelsea, the fact that we destroy every single team, I know you're chatting rubbish because there's been a number of games this season at Stamford Bridge. We've done anything but destroy the team. We've been held off. Not to say we've been absolutely pummeled at home, but if we just go on home form so far this season, we lost the opening game to Man City. We dropped points against Crystal Palace. We also dropped points against Nottingham Forest. So, we've had games where we haven't necessarily destroyed the opponent, but I understand what he's doing. I understand the game he's playing. Ultimately, he's not speaking to Chelsea fans here, so it doesn't matter really what I say. But I don't think the Arsenal fans are buying it. I think they're thinking, mate, what are you smoking? That is a load of rubbish. So yes, it is pretty delusional, isn't it? Let's look at the stats then, because apparently Chelsea destroyed apparently Arsenal completely dominated us, even though the possession was pretty much 50-50. We had the same amounts on target in terms of shots. We had more shots off target than Arsenal did, although you could argue they had 3 big chances to our 1. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that it was a relatively even game. You can't sit here and say they dominated us. I mean, that's not genuine, is it? It's just a lie. It's just waffling at that point. But yeah, in terms of the passes completed, very, very similar. Arsenal with slightly more. Passing accuracy, very similar. Defensively, we made more tackles. We won more duels. We had more corners. They had more offsides. So that's good from our defense with that offside trap. And the fouls are even. So, yeah, I mean, listen, man, I think that Yeah, Arsenal. He's just talking rubbish. That it wasn't that good from an Arsenal perspective. And I spoke to an Arsenal fan after, which, to be fair, I'm happy to share with you. I spoke to an Arsenal fan after, and he was like, get Arteta out. He was like, sack him. I went, what? Are you serious? He went, yeah, man. I don't want that guy at this club. And I was absolutely shocked when I heard it. But in fairness to him, he was being dead serious. He was genuinely he was genuine about what he was saying. So I said, fair enough, man. In fact, I'm going to share my screen with you now, and we'll just hear what this Arsenal fan had to say. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? About Mikel Arteta. I personally, just to be clear, guys, I don't think Arteta should be sacked. I don't think he should be sacked, but I think he's certainly under pressure. He's taken Arsenal a long way, and I think he deserves a bit of respect for that. But let's see what this Arsenal fan had to say.
What did you think about the game? Yeah, listen, Alex, before I get started, I just want to say...
Come on, man. Fucking in.
Say, congrats your team. Your team deserves it. I mean, starting with my team, you know the problem with... Well, I'll tell you what's going on right now in Arsenal. I think I have to start with...
It's fucking lagging. Hang on, let me take that down. Let's go 720.
With the manager. He just... What's going on right now in Arsenal? I think I have to start with the manager. He just gets these selections go wrong because the thing is here with Havertz. I mean, I saw how your Chelsea fans have a go at Havertz. I mean, Havertz did play okay in the first half, but second half he was all over the place. That's why he kept tripping all over the ground and all that. That's what legitimately I saw, you know. And the problem is, I don't know why Mike Oliver disallowed it because that should have been a goal. But for all, yeah, you guys. You are lucky, and that's what I'm saying. I give credit to your Chelsea players. I mean, I know I don't like Chelsea. I know that I'm not a big Chelsea fan, but I have to give credit to your Chelsea players. They played well. My players were just terrible in the second half. I was like, what was I watching in the second half? Because they just can't track back. I don't know how they just can't track back, and this is why. Well, how are we going to? Because when we've always been saying we're going to win the league, this and that, we always get our hopes, and then when it comes to the end of the season, like last season, we bowled it. Now the problem is, I've been saying this since the start of the season. We need a striker. That's the problem. We need a striker if we want to win the Premier League. And the thing is, if not for Saka and Odegaard, that's why we drew to you guys there, because the fact that when they were injured, that's why our team, if you looked at our team, we lost to Bournemouth, we lost to Newcastle, and even when we lost to Inter Milan. Without Saka and Odegaard, we would have for real lost to you guys. And the problem is that Arteta just doesn't know how to start like players like Ivan who have carried the whole team. But I'll give credit to Cole Palmer though, because look at the way he played. Cole Palmer almost scored though. I mean, I may not be a Chelsea fan, but I like Cole Palmer the way he plays. He was cooking because he almost scored. It could have been 2-1. So that's why I'm saying that your team deserved it. That it was quite a lucky draw for you guys. I see your Chelsea fans are happy with the draw, and yeah, I mean, obviously, I know some Arsenal fans may be happy with the draw, but I'm not. I really wanted us to win because this was a London derby. I mean, you haven't beaten us at your ground for a while since 2017. Because the thing is, yeah, all I just wanted is just trophies. But the way I'm looking at it, Alex, I don't think we're going to win the league now. I say we could get top 4.
I agree with you.
Yeah. What did you think happened to our team? I will ask you.
I think Arteta, I don't know. I think it's just a bit defensive for what I would have done. I think you guys just changed everything. I don't know why.
You just need to change some selections. That's all, because selections is what the matter is. But listen, thank you so much for having me on, man. I'll watch you every single time.
Yeah, so big up to I think his name's Josh. Big up to Josh. I mean, he's an Arsenal fan. Apparently he's a fan of the channel as well. But he was Arteta out. And I'm thinking, oh my God. But I understand there's this whole trust the process thing with Arsenal. And then they're going, well, where's the trophies? I think that Arsenal you have to be level-headed in this conversation. Like if Enzo Maresca was in a similar position at Chelsea, how would you feel about it? If he was pushing for the title and competing with Man City at that level? I personally think that it's brutal, isn't it? But I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about it. I don't know. I mean, everyone talks about trophies. Would you rather have a Ten Hag or an Arteta? Ten Hag doesn't challenge in the league, but he'll pick up an FA Cup. He'll win a Carabao Cup, but he won't do well in the league. Or would you rather have Arteta, who's going to push for a title? You're going to have a great league campaign, but you won't win many trophies in terms of the cup competitions. I think Community Shield and an FA Cup. That's it. So it's interesting looking at people and seeing what their preference is. I don't know. I don't know what I prefer. I mean, you can brag about trophies all you want, but if your league form isn't good, then not for me, man. I want to perform in the league. I really want to perform in the league. But I think it's quite a controversial topic these days, because if you don't demand trophies as a fan, you're a plastic and you don't have any standards. All right, guys, listen. There you go. The link is now in the chat. So if you would like to join me, it is a call-in show, people. So you're more than welcome to join. The link is in the chat. We're going to get a panel on. We're going to talk about everything to do with this game. And yeah, we're just going to break it all down. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what everyone has to say. I think my friend Kev's going to be coming on here as well later on. I did send him a message. He literally just responded to me now. So fair enough. Maybe Kev will be jumping on in a second. But yeah, we've got a Yusuf, we've got Tyrone as well. How are we doing, boys?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I mean, what did you think about the Arsenal game, Yusuf?
Oh, where do I start? Honestly, individual mistakes from defence cost us again. Honestly, I don't know how many times Maresca is really going to trust Sanchez, but honestly, after this game, I'm done with him. I just want a different keeper, because I know that Sanchez is going to keep on making these mistakes again. And I will say, he's not solely the part of why we lost yesterday. There is some other players which I'll say that it's their fault. But Sanchez, he can't be getting beat at that near post. Really, he can't. And yeah, thank God Pedro Neto made one moment of magic. Also, Enzo Fernandez, give credit to him. And yeah, it's just individual brilliance and individual mistakes costing us, really.
Yeah. What about you, Tyrone? How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, my thoughts would align well to what you said, in particular in terms of, the match was rather more balanced more than anything. Mentioning what Arteta said about completely dominating, which
that's a load of
in all
rubbish,
fairness isn't accurate. Yeah, it's inaccurate, and I'm happy you brought up the stats, because even if you're not a person that is inclined to go off stats, the numbers tell that it wasn't a case of complete dominance. The possession was more than anything completely balanced. We had more shots, we had more opportunities, and all of that. So it's a case of not being able to get over the line. There was instances where we could have won the match. We had chances in the first half where we could have probably turned the narrative in our favor, but we weren't able to capitalize on them. And it's nothing new. It's classic Chelsea when we face off against Arsenal. So it's just about when will that time come for us, getting over that final hurdle and getting a win over them again.
What do you think about it, Anapa? Good to see you again. I think is this your second time coming on?
Yes, it's my second time. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. I mean, what about the game?
Look, I was very disappointed. Not because I think the performance was good, but I really needed us to win a big game this season. Like being the big teams, maybe Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, because with Chelsea, we used to doing this, and now it's been a while since we've beaten a proper team. I'm not even going to count Spurs because we always beat them, but just like what happened with Man United last season, that 4-3 victory, just the way we felt after that game. We need that feeling again. But I feel like we're very close. We are so close to doing that. But look, the performance was good. Disappointed with the results, but it's all right. We can move on from that.
Yeah, I mean, is there a defining thing in this match that you look at and you go, if it wasn't for that, this would have been a walk in the park? I mean, what is it that you look at with this game and you go, because, for example, Yusuf just points straight to Robert Sanchez. I mean, are you in the same boat or is there something different?
1000%. I don't know this goalkeeper, how many mistakes he's made this season. It's ridiculous. And I remember last season against Arsenal, that mistake to when he gave the ball straight to Declan Rice. Like, it's unbelievable how he's first choice goalkeeper right now. I mean, I'm fed up with him, honestly. But to be honest, to be fair, I feel like we've been conceding first and then scoring afterwards, if that makes sense. Like, it takes the other team scoring and then we react. So, I mean, that's why I say a draw is a fair result. But, I mean, maybe we're missing just a little bit more. I don't know. It's close margins, very close margins. Like, for example, substitutions. Nkunku came on for a few minutes. Maybe you could have come on a bit earlier. Things like that. Very, very fine margins, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you there. We've got Amir as well. How are we doing, Amir?
You
okay, buddy?
You right there, Alex?
will I talk to you during Liverpool game?
I was the one who's spoken to you during the Liverpool game, if you remember.
I remember. Yes. I'm sorry I couldn't upload those fan cams. We had a I was going to say we had a problem with the sound. We'll see if Amir does come back on. But listen, guys. I mean, let's actually go through this. I mean, we're going to go player by player. I always think that that's the best way of doing this when you review, because ultimately you can talk about the team performance all you want, but sometimes it's good to zone in and see who was good individually. Does that make up for the team dropping points? Maybe not. But it's still good to have an idea of who performed well and who didn't. So let's get straight into it. I'm sure Amir will be back on very shortly. And he is here. He's actually waiting. Right, Amir, are you back now?
Right, Amir, are you back now? Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
You're all right. I think I can hear myself on your speaker.
I think I can hear myself on your speaker. Do you have a pair of headphones? Oh.
Yeah, get some headphones because my voice is coming out.
Yeah.
All right, no worries.
2 seconds.
Let me know when you've got
Yeah,
it.
no worries.
All right, so let's start off with Robert Sanchez. I mean, Tyrone, where do we start with this guy?
It's it's part two to the last calling show about this goalkeeper. I have to agree with what was said earlier about the fact that it's kind of puzzling now to understand why he's still the first choice goalkeeper. Distribution wise, he's not where he's being hyped to be. And decision making, no matter if it's coming out or when he comes out or how he positions himself to stop certain shots, it's simply not good enough. And the way that we consider that goal, it should not have happened because he committed himself to go low. He extended his arms. I don't know what he thought was going to happen, and he gave Martinelli the opportunity to just say, okay, let me volley it above him and try to hit it high. So it's down to those basic stuff that as a goalkeeper you need to know that you need to make yourself big and not small, and that's what he did. He made himself small, and in the end Martinelli was able to do that. But I'm starting to get even more frustrated because I don't understand why he's still the first choice goalkeeper, because it's simply like having a hologram in goal.
It is. It actually. I've watched the replay as well. I mean, he is just. It's amateur, isn't it? I don't. As a goalkeeper, like even me, I don't know what it's like being a goalkeeper, but I know that I'm trying to save the shot. Let's make it as hard as we can for the other person. How you could not make yourself big as a goalkeeper, in my opinion, is just a crime. I don't understand. This is like the basics of your profession. You're earning millions of pounds a year to do this. I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, Yusuf, I mean, what's your take on it? I mean, is it just the distribution for you, or is there more to it?
I mean, I think I've spoken about this on the last calling show as well, about his distribution. His distribution is poor. I mean, we bought him as like he was supposed to be a really good ball-playing goalkeeper. Like that's what Maresca really wants in his system. But we've bought him for the wrong reasons. Good shot stopper, as we all know. He did save us a couple of occasions, and I will give him that. But the reasons why we bought him are just the mistakes are popping up, and they can't. like it's just not good.
Right. So for you, it's the distribution more than anything. You don't have a problem with his shot stopping then.
Yeah, shot stopping, I'm completely fine with him. Like he saved us on many occasions. I think he got save of the month. I think for that save against Nottingham Forest at the end. So yeah, shot stopping, I'm completely fine. But yeah, it's just his distribution and everything else.
I'm with you there. I mean, big up to Kev as well. How you doing, man? You all right, Kev? Kev?
Hello?
How we doing, man?
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Fuck's sake.
Can everyone else hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, well, I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, Anup, I mean, do you have a reaction to that? I mean, looking at the goal, I mean, it was poor goalkeeping. I mean, the thing is, if the distribution was poor and the keeping was great, maybe you'd have an argument to make, but that wasn't why we conceded. It was because of poor goalkeeping. So, I mean, I can understand the frustration.
Yep, and it's another problem because he does have, decent shot stopping at times. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure all goalkeepers should be having a substandard stop shotting ability in the Premier League because, I mean, you're a Premier League goalkeeper. I mean, for me, honestly, it's crazy how when we do this analysis, we always talking about the goalkeeper, which is concerning. Because I don't think any other teams have this big of a problem that the goalkeeper is always a problem in every single game. I remember Onana for United last year was causing lots of mistakes. But with Sanchez, I don't know. I mean, yesterday, I don't even think he was horrible. But that small moment of not covering your near post, poor. And my big concern is I don't think Maresca will ever drop him because it seems like he's happy with what Sanchez is doing, which I don't know how. It's unbelievable. It's the one thing about Maresca I don't like because he's gonna persist with them now. Like there's no chance he doesn't start, So it's a bit unfortunate.
I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm not going to sit here and be too negative, but it's a player like that gets a manager sacked after a long time. And if he does persist with this, then I'll be real. A lot of people they won't have it. I mean, this is basic stuff. Forget what we're seeing in terms of the style of play. It's a fucking goalkeeper. I don't even know this is a debate. I mean, Kev, can you hear us now?
Yeah, sorry, brother. I had it connected to something else.
It's all good, man. I mean, I looked at the replay of that goal for Martinelli. I can't believe how bad it was. I mean, in the stadium, to be honest, like you think, oh God, we've conceded, but it's quite quick, isn't it? There's so much going on. It's hard to really see it. But when you see the replays, it's amateur.
This is Sanchez is not doing the basics required to be a goalkeeper at any level. Nevertheless, a Chelsea standard keeper. Even tonight, I just got back from training tonight. We was one player short, so I went in goal. Even me, I never played in goal before, but even me, being an amateur, what I'd do is, if a player's running that side, I'd put my hand on the goal post and cover the near post. Because that's what goalkeepers do. That's just the basics of being a goalkeeper. This guy is making mistake after mistake. And we're talking about the basics, what you teach under 12s kid at a Sunday league team to cover your near post. And it's costing us every single week. It's cost us again last week against United, cost us this week against Arsenal, Liverpool, etc. And I really do believe we're not going to get Champions League football with this guy in goal. Because
you think that strongly about it?
Yeah. Most Premier League keepers would have saved that last night. I'm telling you, 99% of goalkeepers last night would have saved that shot. It's not a hard shot. It's not powerful. All you have to do is get down and palms it around the post. Like most keepers at any level will get to that shot. So why is this guy, considering we've made 8 goalkeeper signings in the space of 2 seasons, and this guy's still number 1? I just think it's a fucking joke, mate, and I'm getting pissed off of it. It's an absolute joke. And like I said to you a minute ago, Champions League football, write it off. We're not getting Champions League football. this guy's still in goal come February, March, we can continue to see the same mistakes, and we're going down and down the league. And when you look at the league position, there's only 4 points from us to Man United. So if we slip up a few games, mate, we're going to be right down in the bottom of the pack. So the league's very deceiving. Just because we're third now, 2 L's, 2 bad goalkeeper mistakes, Man United will catch us. So this is what I'm saying. This guy's going to cost us. He's costing us every week.
I mean, Amir, what's your take on Robert Sanchez?
What's my take on Robert Sanchez?
Yeah.
I would say that my thoughts on Robert Sanchez. I mean, sometimes he can get a bit iffy, to be honest with you. I mean, I would say that, me personally, I would say that like Petrovic it slightly overtakes him at the moment. Until yes, just slightly. But unless we get like a proper goalkeeper, right? Then we can just put both Petrovic and Sanchez both on the bench and get like a proper goalkeeper.
Okay, fair enough.
But like, I don't know about you guys, what you guys think, but like, honestly, with the many goalkeepers that we currently have, we might as well just make a whole team with just goalkeepers. Really, at this point, with the many goalkeepers that we have,
we've got like 10 keepers at the club, maybe more. I mean, the fact that people are even talking about potentially investing in another keeper is crazy to me. When you've got Jorgensen, who you haven't given a chance, you've got Petrovic, who literally proved he can play for Chelsea. Yeah, his distribution is not great. It's probably better than Robert Sanchez though. So then there's the standard. If you're really looking at it like that. And you've got, what's his name? Oh, you've got that American. Who's the American kid who's playing for Barnsley? Does anyone know who that is?
Oh, Bentanelli.
Oh no, Bettinelli's our third choice. It's Slanina, that's the one, Kev.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. I mean, I think Bettinelli would do a better job than Sanchez at this point in time. You think Bettinelli's not covering his near post?
Alex, you do a better job than trust me.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Serious. Being a goalkeeper is not that hard to, yeah, obviously comes with an element of training, but it's not a hard position to play. And when you're not doing the basics like covering your front post or clearing the ball when it needs to be cleared or keep on passing the ball to the opposing players every single week, why is this guy still here? There's a lot of goalkeepers in the market. There's a lot of goalkeepers in the market. Okay, they might not be world class, but there's keepers that can do the basics. So why are you look how many goalkeepers we've got on the roster? 8 goalkeepers. So I just really don't. He keeps on starting every week. I keep on seeing I see Sanchez in goal, and I'm like, what's going to happen this week? A penalty, a bad pass, a mistake. What's going to happen? Every week he's doing something different.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you.
Carry on.
I was gonna say I don't know about you guys, but as long as Kepa doesn't come back, then I'm totally fine. I don't care who we have, but as long as Kepa doesn't come back, we're totally fine.
I'd rather have Kepa.
You'd rather have Kepa?
Of course, I'd rather have Kepa.
Look what he's doing.
Sanchez is the worst fucking keeper we've had since freaking Mark Bosnich. I'm telling you, a lot of you won't know who Mark Bosnich is. Research him. He's the worst keeper we've had since Mark Bosnich. I'm telling you.
All right.
Let me pull up this stat. All right. Let me pull up well, it's not a stat, it's a tweet. All right. Let me pull this up. I have it saved. Like when I type in Kepa, this tweet comes up straight away because I think it's good. Robert Sanchez has 2. This was actually before this game, so whether that's changed or not. Robert Sanchez has 2 errors leading to goals and 2 penalties committed in just 10 games. Kepa had 3 errors leading to goals throughout his entire Chelsea career in the Premier League. And this isn't even speaking about last year. So just this season, Sanchez has already done more than Kepa did in his whole Chelsea career.
Okay.
That's fucking mad.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And this is like, you know, it's not even an extreme opinion. And Kepa has a £5 million release clause. How much do you think we're going to get for Robert Sanchez if we're selling Kepa for 5 mil? By the way, the only reason that is because of his wage. If it wasn't for his wages, we'd get 20 million for Kepa.
I personally don't think Kepa was a bad keeper, you know. I think his distribution could have been improved on. Shot stopping was good. I thought he was a leader as well. I thought he was demanding. I just feel like that situation with Sarri kind of left, you know, I don't think it really, since the situation in the final with City a few years ago, I don't think the energy between the fans and him was great. And I just felt like he had to go just because of that. But apart from that, I don't think he was a bad keeper. And when you look at it, when you look at the stats, mate, and this is where you can identify where we're at. When you can see Robert Sanchez and Kepa's errors, you can see where we're at with him. And I'm telling you now, Sanchez is. I don't think I've seen a worse keeper in a Chelsea shirt in a long time. It's that deep, bro. He's I can't stand it anymore.
Do you think?
I just don't want to see him in goal again. I don't.
Do you think, like, those errors that Sanchez has made? Do you think Kepa makes those errors?
Nah.
But if Kepa's in goal, everyone scores a screamer, and I'm tired of that happening. I don't know if you guys remember. Oh my goodness! Everyone just shoots.
He couldn't save long shots. He was very slow.
That Tielemans one in the FA Cup. Oh no, that's just come to my head now.
Yeah, true. But sometimes you can't get to everything. But when you continuously passing the ball at the back to the opposing players, or that's it. That's the thing. Got strikes with Sanchez. He's passing at the back is awful. So I just don't believe.
I wouldn't mind bringing back
an unfair stat. Mauricio Sarri was the first manager to ever implement that style. In fact, he was more extreme than Maresca. Everything was short with Kepa. So it was a much more risky system than what we play now. Although I will say this, Kepa had better defenders to work with than Robert Sanchez does. But I don't think it helps when there's no confidence. And that never helps. Right, okay, that's Robert Sanchez, guys. I mean, listen, we could sit here and talk about him all day. But we've got to go through all the players. So we'll go on to the right-hand side. Let's go with Malo Gusto. Let's get your thoughts on Malo Gusto and Noppa. I mean, what did you think about his performance?
Overall, I'm just going to compare it to the Man United performance. Much, much better. He should have scored that chance, honestly. I think he really should have scored that chance. Brilliant cross from Neto. I saw this. I literally thought it went in because it was an open goal there. But look, I think this game here, he was doing more overlapping, helping the Madueke. Look, not his best performance, but I think he did a good job. Yeah, in my opinion.
Okay, Tyrone, what do you think?
The thing is, with Malo Gusto, the issue that I would have seen in this match in particular and in a lot of the games, I think this was also discussed on the last call-in show as well, is the fact that he's not able to be of great impact in the attack. And I think that's something that even Arteta noticed, because that is the instance where we started to stop using the right hand side and it was more on the left hand side that we tried to do much, and that's the thing with Gusto. I'm struggling to understand where he really fits in the system, because I'm not sure if it's a case where he's just having poor games or if it's a case where he's just not ideal for the system. But Gusto has been asked to do certain things and he's not been able to do it. He's a good player, but I'm starting to wonder if he actually suits the system, or the approach of overlapping rather than inverting. And even inverting he hasn't been able to do well in. So I'm not really sure if he suits the system.
So do you think he's better at overlapping or inverting?
I would say that he overlaps quite a lot, because he's been tasked with then again, it's a mixture of both because he does have to come central a couple of times, but he usually has to try to be wide and try to create opportunities. But he was nullified in that sense when he was playing, and Arteta really allowed him that freedom because they realized that he's not going to do anything in the attack, and when you notice that your opponents are not challenging your players, that should tell you that that's not positive. That could be just me giving Arteta plaudits for something that he simply didn't set up the team to do. But when Gusto had the ball, he barely had anybody targeting him because after that headed opportunity that he missed, there was nobody really challenging him to make his job harder.
Do you agree with that, Kev?
Well, to a certain extent, yeah.
Care to elaborate?
Ask me the question and I'll go again.
I was wondering if you agree with what Tyrone's saying about Malo Gusto not suiting Enzo Maresca's system.
Yeah. We spoke about this last week. I feel like Gusto is a wing back. He's not a right back, if you know what I mean. I feel like Gusto's your old school kind of right back who likes to overlap, get down the flank, crops the ball in. I feel like when he's coming inside, he hasn't got the technical ability and the mindset to be able to keep that ball in little places. He's not that kind of player. He's all out explosive player, likes to get down the flank. So he's wasted there. When I seen Gusto starting yesterday, I thought James had another injury. To be fair, James is perfect for the inverted role because James can ping a ball 50, 60 yards. He can play those little passes, those little 1-2s in tight spaces. That's not Gusto's game. So he's just getting wasted in that inverted role. I think if you're going to play an inverted role, bring Cucurella into that middle and keep Gusto on the flank. That's it. Keep Gusto with paint on his boots, let's say. There's no point in coming in. He's just getting wasted. That's not. He can tell he doesn't want to do it, and when he does do it, it's wasted because there's been plenty of occasions this season where he gives the ball away. This was not the Gusto of last season. Gusto was 1-2 in it from there. The box running down the line, crossing balls. He was getting up there and he was making it difficult for defenders and the other team. This year, we're not seeing that. So it's just down to tactics. Obviously, Enzo Maresca was telling him to stay inside, and it's not his game. So just wasting talent. So just keep it simple. This inverted stuff, everyone's trying to do it. Everyone's trying to be City, but you have to have the players to do it. If you haven't got the players to do it, you have to tactically set up your team to suit the needs of your players. Because at the end of the day, if you're setting up a team, you haven't got the players to do it, you're nullifying players, and obviously the players are not performing to the best of their capabilities. So it's just wasting. It's just a waste. So hopefully we can sort that out. If James comes back on that right side, I think we'll feel like this inverted stuff will be better for him. But continuing to see Gusto there, we're just wasting a special player.
I don't even think James is good when he inverts. Like I think that he's the same type.
He's better though because James played for Wigan defensive midfield when he was on loan there a couple of years ago, and he got player of the season in the Championship. He was phenomenal. So James can do a number in the centre of the park, but Gusto's all out wide. You can tell what he wants to do. Look, last season, how many times under Pochettino was that guy doing the 1-2 and just overlapping, running down the line? That's his game. That's not James's game. I think James is more of a player that's going to do a 1-2, pass the ball, get into space. Whereas Gusto was just bam, 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 bang, up and down. So total different players.
Fair enough. I'm going to come to you, Yusuf. I want to talk about Fofana and Colwill. I mean, out of the two, who do you think had a better game? And what's your thoughts on them?
Honestly, I think it's difficult. For me, they were both the same, if I'm honest. Like, some people might call me crazy for that, but after when Arsenal scored that goal, I could see that Colwill was getting more shaky. But Yeah, okay, you know what? I'll give it to Fofana, but by a little bit. But because I could see that Fofana was still trying to shrug off Arsenal players, trying to play the ball forward. But yeah, they were very similar. But I'll give Fofana the edge.
You give Fofana the edge. What about you, Amir? I mean, did you think that Fofana was better than Colwill? And how do you think they played? Because Maresca seemed to be quite happy with how we defended, except for obviously the goal we conceded.
Well, I mean, since I've seen both of them play since I've started since I've supported Chelsea, I've always been like leaning more towards Levi than Fofana. I mean, like, I don't know why, but it's just something about Colwill. I personally believe that Fofana doesn't have.
What is that?
I think I don't know what it is exactly, and I don't want to mess up with like explaining it as well. But like, I would say that like Colwill has the look on the play that he plays as a centre back. When like he actually wants to play at the club more than Fofana.
Okay. Oh, well, I agree with you on that because Fofana literally said that he was looking to go into Marseille. I think he's a snake, to be honest with you. I don't think he has any loyalty to Chelsea. But, you know, that's my opinion. But that's not the main thing with Fofana. I mean, if he plays for us, I'm going to support him. But I don't think he's loyal. I think he's shown with Leicester what he will do. And he'll do it to Chelsea. That's what I think.
Yeah. Call me a pushover, right? But I I don't know about you guys, but like I personally believe that that Colwell reminds me sort of like John Terry in a way.
Okay. Do you agree with that, Anopa?
In terms of leadership qualities, definitely. I mean, I think
that's the one.
Cole, I think he's a future captain, Colwill. That's why this season, I think Colwill, like from the start of the season to where we are now, I think Cole's been the better centre back. Yesterday, I think Fofana just had the edge. I was a bit disappointed in Cole because I feel like his distribution of the ball, he gave away the ball twice to Arsenal players, and I wasn't happy with that. But look, it happens, and we didn't get punished for it, so it's all right. But look, Fofana, you know, I'm happy you pointed that out, Alex, because I totally forgot that he literally handed a transfer request to Leicester. And you've got a point. Maybe if Madrid came in, now I'm a bit shaky as well.
This is why. This is why I wanted Tosin instead of Fofana. I'm desperate for Tosin to start playing well, but every time Tosin plays, he was rubbish when we beat Noah 8-0. Kev, are you trying to come in and say something?
Yeah, I was just going. So I'm just saying what the guy said at the bottom. For last week, we had a guy in the chat say Fofana reminds him of Vidic, and this week Levi Colwill reminds him of Terry. Oh my life! I think I'm too old for this stuff, you know, right now because I don't. I'm too old for this shit, bro. I really am, man. You can't be putting these same guys in the same sentence, bro. Nowhere near it. Absolutely far off. Not even in the same country. Not even the same world. Yeah. But Colwill has got potential to be a good defender, but he will get nowhere near Terry. Nowhere near Terry. No, not even a mile off. But yeah, I think the defense has been a lot better this year.
Let me just come back to Amir. I mean, Amir, what do you say to that?
Yeah.
I mean, going on Colwill, there is one thing that he needs to improve on.
What's that?
He breaks the offside a bit too much. He needs to improve there.
If he does that, is he as good as John Terry?
I would say so, yes.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to bed now.
But it doesn't mean that It doesn't mean that I'm not sticking with Colwill being worse than Fofana. I'm still saying that Colwill is still better.
Okay, I'm with you there. I'm with you, Kev. So Kev, you were saying. So let's go back to Kev now. I mean, you were talking about Fofana and Colwill. I can't remember what you were saying, Kev.
Yeah. I'm just saying that the defense has shored up a lot. I think there's a good partnership being created with both of them, but with a lot of chat and pundits saying that for us to be in with a shot for the league in a couple of years or years' time when this squad develops a bit better, we need a world-class defender and a world-class goalkeeper. And I feel that's what we need moving forward. But he can't. Fofana and Colwill are mid at best. I still we just need world-class, a Pastoni or someone of that caliber. And when you see the way these guys defend, these world-class defenders, you see that there's a total difference. Okay, I'm not saying they're bad defenders, but there's a massive difference between mid and world-class. And these lads that we've got, they're not world-class. And with Chelsea, we've always had world-class defenders, and Thiago Silva was the last of them. We haven't replaced him, but we are doing well. There's a good partnership there, but I'm just fearful that if we get to Champions League, which we might do next year, if we've got Fofana, Colwill, and Sanchez as our back three diamond, let's say,
back
three triangle, it's no good. Imagine that against Vini Jr., Mbappe, and all the world-class players. They're going to get cooked, bro. There's too many mistakes there. So, yeah, good for now. Improvements of last season, but to be a Premier League contending team or a Champions League winning team, it's got to be better than that. A lot better. When you feel like 2 years ago we had Rudiger, Christensen, Thiago Silva in the defense, and now we've got Colwill and Fofana. It's black and white. There's a massive difference there in respect of quality. So let's see what January brings or next summer. So hopefully we can get a world-class defender in there.
Tyrone, I mean, what do you make of our defense as a whole? And I mean, are you comfortable with Fofana and Colwill? I know they haven't had their best seasons. I personally agree that I think Fofana's not been as good as Colwill, and I'd love Tosin to play well, but Fofana's definitely been better than Tosin. So I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I agree with that. And even the point with the fact that we haven't replaced Silva, it's not rocket science. It's obvious, but we don't have a leader in that defense, and I think that's something that we're lacking, and perhaps that's why you're leaning towards saying you need a Tosin in, but he hasn't been performing better than the pairing that we're currently using. So that's the issue. So. I mean, I'm not comfortable with them because the fact that you're saying 1 week one is better than the other, that's not good. It shouldn't be a case where you have an imbalance where this one did good and the other one is bad. It should be a case where there's unification. You need both of your centre backs to be reliable, and not one where you're saying that he gave the ball away. No, the system requires you to be able to move the ball seamlessly without giving the ball back to your opponents, and that's exactly what happened in this match. So we definitely need a leader, someone that can command that defense line, not being too high. And I get you're trying to play offside traps, but at the same time positioning is important, and you need somebody to reprimand you so you know that okay, all right, next time you can't be that high, you have to be compact and all those stuff. So we definitely need a leader in that defense. So I'm not too comfortable with it. And I can probably lean towards saying that if we don't fix that issue in the defense, it may cost us Champions League or getting Champions League rather, because you need your defense to be compact even more, and that's something that we've seen with Liverpool, and to some extent Arsenal had that for most of the current season, even though the sample size is kind of small.
I'm with you. I mean, I think you've actually explained that very well, Tyrone. So I don't really have a lot more to add to it. I mean, does anyone else have anything they want to say regarding Fofana or Colwill before we move on to Cucurella? Okay. All right. Well, let's go on to Cucurella then. Let's start with Anopa. I mean, he was given man of the match. Was that deserved, or was there another player that should have won it, in your opinion?
100% deserved. I mean, the way he dealt with Saka even went off limping. That's a man of the match performance. I mean, with Cucurella, I won't lie, when we first signed him, I was very happy. I was excited because I saw what he did at Brighton. And I remember his debut is the game against Everton, and you could just see the level of class he had. And then obviously afterward, there was not really, we weren't seeing the Cucurella we saw from Brighton. But since Pochettino's last 5 games, when we started inverting, we started to see the true Cucurella, his passing, how he can, stay compact and tight. And I'm very impressed with him. I think he's one of the players that you can say has massively improved. So I'm very happy with him so far.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to the stream as well, Gets Games. How are you doing, man?
Big up, guys. Big up, guys. How you guys doing? I'm doing all right.
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I mean, we were just talking about Cucurella.
Yeah. Sensational performance yesterday. Definitely deserved man of the match, in my opinion. Saka didn't get any freedom. And once again, second time in a row against Saka. He's just been superb. And he's been like that way since last year, even under Pochettino, where I think when he came into that inverted midfield spot, I think we've been seeing a lot of improvements from him. And to be honest, best left back in the league, I think he is.
Back in the league. We'll leave that to the panel. Chip in if you want.
I'd have to disagree.
Top 3, definitely.
Top three, yeah, top 3. I think Timber for Arsenal yesterday, mate. What a play he is. What a play he is. Andy Robertson, you'd have to put him up there. Like he's just so consistent with his performances. Doesn't really have a bad game. But Cucurella, this goes to show how much we've needed the guy over the last few weeks. He comes in and puts in a man of the match performance straight away, and he's been dropped the last few weeks. We haven't had that natural left back in that natural width on that left hand side, and we all know the reason why we started him, because Saka hasn't left his pocket since the Euros, and he's still in there now. So
it's been that way since last year.
Yeah. So, what Saka's? I mean, Cucurella, man. The amount of stick he came under towards the middle of last season, where even myself was saying get him gone, and he's come through leaps and bounds, and he's telling you now, he's our most consistent. He's literally like a Dave Azpilicueta. He's consistent. He never goes under a 6, and he's the reason why we finished.
That's true. There's not many games. Is there a single game that I think Cucurella played badly? And I wouldn't say that.
No. And the thing is, as well, he's so smart. He's a very smart player. How he knows when to come in, and he knows where to go at. He knows when to go forward. Knows when to stay back. He never puts a foot wrong. And yesterday, kept on getting the right side of Saka. He kept on showing Saka on the outside. It's not rocket science. When you've got a left-footed player on the right, you keep him going down the right side, and he's basically showing where to go. And he reminded me a bit of Ashley Cole used to do a similar thing as well. That showing players, and we call it showing players on the weak foot, and that's what he done to Saka brilliantly. He didn't want him to cut inside. But yeah, Cucurella deserved it. I think Caicedo was in for a good shot as well, and obviously Pedro Neto. But Cucurella, just because of his defensive performance yesterday and his leadership as well, definitely deserved that man of the match award.
I mean, what do you think about Cucurella, Yusuf? What's your take on him?
Mate, there's a reason why he got man of the match yesterday. It's because he was defensively sound, kept Saka quiet. I didn't really see Saka do anything yesterday apart from chipping a few crosses where he probably got away from him, but that's really it. Yeah, Cucurella, when he came in, I was really stoked because I saw what he did at Brighton. Yeah, playing very well, looked really good. And yeah, when we got him, we started to see that a little bit. But then when we had Graham Potter, didn't really look like the same Cucurella. But then when Pochettino came in, and I sort of knew this, when Pochettino came in, we've seen Pochettino actually improve fullbacks of where Pochettino has always been, with like Danny Rose and players like that. We've seen Pochettino improve fullbacks, so I knew he was going to improve Cucurella much. Didn't think he would be inverting him, of what he was doing in the last 5 games or whatever it was last season. But
Yeah.
it was the Cucurella. Haven't got anything bad to say about him and deserved man of the match.
Cucurella was the main reason why we finished 6th. Because I remember we went to Aston Villa away, didn't we, Alex? Where we drew 2-2. Then he won last minute by the Sheila header, but he got cancelled. That remember it?
I thought that was Disassi, wasn't it? Disassi?
Oh, Disassi by the show scored last minute. And
Adishile was the reason why that goal got disallowed. Apparently, he
fouled.
fouled.
Yeah. So when we were saying Cucurella's playing centre midfield, isn't he? And that was the reason why we got 6, because he gave us that defensive cover on transition. So obviously on the attack is out wide. On the defense when the teams are countering us, they'll sit in the DM position and make a free with him, Caicedo and Lavia. So all three. So what you find is on the defense, Caicedo moves to like a right centre midfield. Lavia will go defensive midfield, and Cucurella will sit next to him.
Are we talking about Poch or Maresca?
No, I'm talking about yesterday as well as last season.
Okay.
So basically, Poch, the guy who just spoke to them is right. Because Cucurella, as soon as he went to this inverted role, we started seeing the better of him because he's now smart with his movement. Like I said, on the defense, he'll move in and he'll cover, and on the attack, he'll stay out wide and he'll overlap and do stuff like that. So I think it's Pochettino's the reason why this is happening. Is Pochettino's decision to do it.
Yeah.
And it was smart because at the end of the day, he got a 6th place last year.
Don't you remember we were about to loan him out to Man United last season in January?
Yeah, true.
Thank God we didn't do that.
It's a good thing we never did it. I mean,
and they need a left back themselves now, so they would have probably end up saying to us, you know what, we give you Sanchez and you take Cucurella. Imagine that.
I mean, let's move up to the midfield. I mean, let's. I want to hear. Oh, we've got someone else. Leon's coming in. I mean, Leon, what's your take on the midfield?
Well, I think the midfield done really well. I think it done really, really well. I think, like the panel said, I think the problem was definitely Sanchez yesterday, for sure. Madueke as well, getting booked for just playing with the ball, which is just so stupid to do now. It's just like a pointless yellow card to even get. And I think the midfield really done well. You could see like Caicedo really did work his ass off yesterday. He was trying to amp up the crowd. Stamford Bridge was going crazy, and it was just, it was good. I mean, Lavia's done well as well, but it's kind of worried me when Lavia went down and sort of came off. That was kind of a bit concerning. But
I mean, are you happy with the midfield at the moment? Is there anything that you would change?
No, I think the midfield's okay for now. I mean, I think it's a bit difficult when, because obviously we've got like such a good, well, I say good, but like extensive roster. Like you got Caicedo there, you got Enzo there. Palmer normally plays in front, and you've got Nkunku that can go in number 10, and Felix. It's kind of a bit jam packed. So, but I do like the partnership of Lavia and Caicedo. I think both of them offer quite a lot. Sort of Caicedo can get forward and Lavia can stay back. And sort of when Enzo comes on, he sort of tries to sort of go forward a bit and try and find them passes. But it's, I think yesterday, like Madueke and Sanchez was the issue for me. I did hear the panel about Gusto. Like, I think Gusto has done really well. I think last season, the way Poch used him was more of a right wing back, so he bombs forward and tries to overlap. I think with Maresca's system, it's more I want you to invert, and Cucurella can do that super well. But I think, at the end of it, like I think most Chelsea fans try and compare Gusto to Reece James, and that's just not going to happen because Reece is, he's world class on his day. He's better than anyone, But I think Gusto is a really good backup, and he's been really solid for us considering what we had as a right back in previous seasons without Reece James there.
Yeah, I mean, talk
So
to me about the midfield, though. Talk to me about the midfield. I mean, that's what I really want to understand. I mean, do you think that there's anything we need to change in that midfield? Why do we have to invert Gusto then? Is it not something that Caicedo and Lavia can handle on their own?
No, I think it just falls under a Maresca system. Like, my uncle's got Leicester fans, and even they said like that's the frustrating part about Maresca is he will not change anything. Once he's got his system, he plays kind of one way, and he won't change it and divert it. He'll kind of keep it, and I think that's why we've seen Lavia and Caicedo, because he sees that it kind of works a lot better than Enzo and Caicedo. And I think sometimes our midfield can get a bit overrun, but I think Caicedo is definitely literally the most solid that we have in the middle of the field for sure. And yeah.
Okay. I mean, Tyrone, what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think mentioning Leicester City, for example, because when you take into consideration Maresca's managerial career, you have to take into account the fact that the midfield options that he would have had at Leicester City is completely different from what he has at Chelsea. So obviously when you have an Enzo and a Caicedo, it's not as balanced as a Lavia and Caicedo, because one is only one of them that you can depend on to really chip in defensively and protect the defense. So I think that's one of the reasons why you don't necessarily see Cucurella being inverted, or you see the need of inverting one of the fullbacks, because you don't need that additional man to support the midfield. So that's not necessarily there. But people will always argue about the fact that by having two players who are so defensively solid, you have an issue of creativity, and I think that's perhaps something that probably have to start thinking about, because this duo works, the double pivot works with these two because they're able to protect the defense. But we saw that when Lavia had to come off and Enzo came on, we saw just one moment of creativity leading to a goal. So I think it's about finding that ideal balance and trying to see which midfield option you prefer, and if you are willing to sacrifice having an additional creativity from the midfield or simply having more of a defensive support for the defense.
Yeah. I mean, Anapa, are you still hanging about, or I saw you turn your camera off? Oh, he's back. He's on mute.
Sorry,
there we go.
Sorry,
It's all right, man. I didn't know if maybe he went to the toilet or something. That's why.
No, I'm here.
What's your take on this whole midfield situation? Because I mean, there's a lot of people, myself included, comparing Caicedo with Kante, and then obviously you got Lavia next to him, and this kind of goes into the conversation of inverted fullbacks as well. Yeah.
I mean, look, with Caicedo, I think consistency has been a big thing with him. He's been very consistent for quite a while now, and I'm very impressed with his performances. The only problem I had with Caicedo was that sometimes he was a bit too rash, and you would get needless yellow cards. And now I'm starting to see more discipline from him. He's still making tackles, still making challenges, but he's staying more disciplined. His tackling was always good. You saw that last tackle before the game ended, just sprinting, tired legs, and you see the passion on his face, and you saw he was disappointed that, cool, he got the tackle, but he didn't get the ball, he didn't get the throw in. So I'm very happy with Caicedo. Lavia, a bit of a quiet game from him. I'm willing to give Lavia time because he's been out for a while, and he's still pretty young. So we can still give him time. And then with the inverting, I think it's just Maresca's system, to be honest with you. That's just how he wants to play. I do think if we play Caicedo and Lavia, we don't need to invert. But again, if Maresca's system needs a fullback to invert, then yeah, I guess that's the reason he does it.
Yeah, I mean, Amir, do you like the inverted fullback, or would you do something different?
Oh wait, are you talking to me?
I was talking to Amir. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if you heard me or not. I'm going to take that as a no. Did you want to say something, Gets?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll just touch up on the midfield. I thought Caicedo had another standard performance again. Again, not really much to say about Caicedo when he's been consistently getting performances out these like these every single game basically. With Lavia, I've heard some things about Lavia, some good things, some bad things, but I didn't think he was that bad. I don't think he was definitely not better than Caicedo for me, but yeah, I didn't think Lavia was that bad. I think with Lavia, I think he's getting a little bit of that Caicedo syndrome when he has been performing. He's been performing very, very well for us so far in the times we've seen him against Manchester City at the start of the season, and when he's come back from injury, he's been phenomenal. So I think we put him on a higher pedestal, and I don't think that game against Arsenal yesterday, I don't think he lived up to that standard yesterday, which is why we're getting a little bit critical of him. But I didn't think he was that bad either. I really like Lavia. I think Lavia is a really good player for the future. And yeah, I think the Caicedo and Lavia, the midfield, did a pretty decent job, to be honest.
I mean, Kev, you text me privately saying that you're tired. What is stopping you from staying on the call-in show, my friend, for an extra half an hour? You know, what's stopping you, Kev? I thought you loved this game.
I love it. But bro, you got to understand, man. I'm an old man now. Like these live shows are too late for me. I'm usually fast asleep at 9:30.
Kev bombastic stinker and hooked.
Yeah. I'm not built for this 11 o'clock stuff anymore. But yeah, about the midfield. Caicedo with an absolute quality tackle. I think it was on Havertz. I think it was.
It was on Havertz.
Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal tackle. I feel like
Reece James also done it as well.
Caicedo, he grew into the game, started off slow, but that's down to Arsenal and how well they kept the ball. Lavia was pretty quiet, to be fair, but physically is what you need in there. I think with Enzo, he hasn't got that physicality. That's what lets him down. But with Lavia, he's strong. He protects the ball well, and he's good in tight position, tight spaces. You seen him do it yesterday, niggle out little spaces and get the ball up the field, do transition. So the midfield is coming on leaps and bounds. You've got to think that we were only a couple of years ago, we've seen the last of Jorginho phasing out. Obviously, Kovacic, I still feel like we could have kept hold of. Obviously, who else? Kante, who probably still could have done the job as well, but obviously getting into his 30s and whatnot now. So we've phased that midfield.
Can you hear us, Kev? He's cut out. Right, let's go with oh, come on, Kev. I was going to ask you another question as well, man, before you went. All right, well, I think it's bedtime for Kevin. Good night to you, my friend. I know, but I mean, let's move further up the pitch. Let's go with Madueke, and then I'm going to come to Ayusef as well. So I mean, what's your take on Madueke?
Disappointed, very disappointed, because with Madueke, that Wolves hat trick lied to me. I won't even lie to you, because I thought, there's a different Madueke we're getting this season. We're going to get a consistent Madueke who's going to be contributing. Because my issue with Madueke is sometimes I feel like he's a bit selfish, because he's got the quality, but sometimes he's a tad bit selfish. And then when you see things like him rushing to the locker room before the game's done, I'm not happy with that. So, look, I think now I want to see Neto on the right. I think this game has finally I've made up my mind that maybe we should see Neto on the right, and on the left we can put Sancho. Yes, but I wasn't happy with this performance.
I mean, let me get your take on that, Yusuf, as well. I mean, are you happy with Madueke? Do you think he's still improving, or does he need to do more?
I think I said this on the Man United calling show. I think I said I'll give him one game, and this was the game that he needed to show that he can bring output. And I'm sorry, but Neto is the starting right winger now. Madueke has to be benched a few games, and I think, as the person said it before, Neto on the right, Sancho on the left, and Palmer in that 10 role. I think that will be all fine.
Mr. Simmons is back.
I agree.
Kev, I thought you went to bed.
Hello. I'm
don't give me
Remember,
all
I'm
that.
not on. I've got. No, it did. I've got a shit laptop, mate, and I forgot to plug. Literally, I didn't plug it in, and I've got like 1,000,001 things plugged into it, so the battery drained quickly. So sorry about that. I cut off mid conversation.
That's all right. That's all right. I thought it was funny, Kev.
Yeah.
So we've moved on from the midfield. We're
Okay.
talking about Madueke now.
Oh, Madueke. Okay. So before I log off, let's say, absolutely frustrating. It's frustrating the life out of me. And let's be real, is he good enough? Not at the moment. I think.
Well, do you think he's getting better? I think he's improving. I think he's certainly getting better.
The ceiling levels as high as the Burj Khalifa. He's got high ceiling level. There's potential for him to be a great player. But if you're looking for now, a player that's gonna take the game by the scruff of his neck, or put in a delightful through ball, or work his way position to work the keeper, he's not that guy. And when you see Neto doing what he's doing since he's came into the fold, you can see the difference between the two players.
What's the difference, Kev?
Neto just works harder. That's it. Neto works off the ball, on the ball. Neto works harder, as well as he's more smarter. He wants to move into different positions. Madueke, it's always the same thing. He stays on that right. He'll cut in. He'll either work into the byline, lose the ball, or overhit across, or just he's not. I'm not seeing anything that's like, wow, like it's just all bark and no bite. Let's say that's what I get with Madueke. With Neto, that is what you want. Neto does not think about shit. He just gets it done. If he wants to go past the man, he'll go past the man. If he wants to whip in a good ball, he'll whip in the ball. Like the end product's there. Madueke has not got that. And I feel like he keeps starting week in, week in, week out, and I've seen no development coming. I think from that Wolves game, he's only scored a goal against Forest, and that's personally, he hasn't done enough. He really hasn't done enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. He hasn't done enough. I mean, Kev, I'm going to say goodnight to you. By the way, Kev, are you around? Well, I don't know. Do you want to jump on an Omelie in the next couple of days? Big up to Omelie.
I'm available for Omelie tomorrow or Friday.
Tomorrow, Friday. Let's jump on an Omelie, guys. If you don't know Omelie, QR code on screen.
We've got no football this week anyway, haven't we? So we'll do a few things.
We'll have to talk international business, Kev.
Yep, you know me. I'm down for anything. So I'm gonna lovely leave you all. Enjoy your night and catch up with you soon.
All right, buddy. Have a good sleep.
Night, mate.
Big up, bruv.
Yeah, I mean, let's hear from CFC Mohammed. Good to hear from you, my friend. Thanks for being patient. What's your take on Madueke? We speak a little bit about Neto as well. I mean, what's the comparison there?
I just feel like, honestly, it's down to decision making. Honestly, I feel like non-Madueke, either like if he cuts inside, like there's only one outcome, he's gonna try to shoot, and if like the only times where he really tries to cross it when he cuts inside, like, is really atrocious. I think the only time where he actually had like a good cross that game was to Fofana, and he almost scored from it. Yeah. So like the thing is, like Pedro Neto, I feel more safe with him, especially in the right wing, because like I feel like he brings more threat, and I feel like with non-Madueke, it'll take time for him to really mature. And when he matures into like a better player, I feel like he'll be very dangerous for us. That's why I'm still kind of patient with non-Madueke, because he has improved from last season. Like he's way more of a better goal threat. So he just needs to keep his head up, and he needs to really mature, honestly.
I mean, do you agree with that, CFC, man?
Yeah, I agree. Just want to say, big up to everyone here. Also want to say is, one thing about Madueke is attitude. Really needs to fix it. I think as we all heard, he didn't even get to see Neto's goal. He just, after he got subbed out, just went down the tunnel. Didn't really care.
Is that a big
and
issue for you?
I think it really is. Because at least he could have motivated his teammates. On the bench. But just decided to go down the tunnel. I feel like we should have Neto on the left and Neto on the right and Sancho on the left, and then Palmer in the middle. I feel like that'll be really dangerous. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you agree with that, Gets?
Yeah, I think I agree with the panel. I think Neto has to shift to the right for me after that performance. I think Madueke, including with Sanchez, I think was the worst player on the pitch. I think he was the worst. Yes, he was the worst. With Sanchez too. But you can make the argument, but they were both not good. Like, I wouldn't be saying that about Madueke, but here's the thing. What was the difference between Madueke playing for the amount of time that he did and Mudryk? Basically nothing, right? When Neto came to the right-hand side, didn't even take him 2 minutes. He scored in less than 2 minutes later. Again, it's a little bit of kind of off tangent, but I think we have to give a little bit of credit to Maresca there again for substitutions. I don't really hear that those two decisions that he made get brought up. Yes, he I understand the criticisms with like Nkunku and stuff, but I think it was a good decision to bring on Neto to the right-hand side. I think
definitely.
And I agree with the rest of the panel in that I want to bench Madueke at this point in time. Neto, I would put him on the right. He's capable of playing there. Sancho, if he comes back from injury, is he back from injury? Is he going to be back after the international break?
I'm very confident he'll be back.
Okay, so assuming that, I would put Sancho on the left-hand side, and that's the beauty. Also, here's the beauty of it as well, because Sancho is also capable of playing on the right-hand side as well, so you can interchange those wingers. But also, if you want to add a little bit of a direct play on the left-hand side, you could also pick Mudryk. I mean, Mudryk is I thought Mudryk has been impressive in the times that he played. Yes, it's against the low opposition, but I think he is knocking on the door to get a start. And yeah, I can see Mudryk getting into this side, but not over Sancho when he gets back from injury. So yeah, I think Madueke has to be dropped, and I think it's unfortunate because I do see a lot of talent in Madueke, but the problem is just consistency. We've been wary about this since like game week 2. Like we saw that hat trick. He was our best winger at that time, and then a few weeks later, our best winger was then Sancho, and then our next best winger is Neto. So basically, not really any consistency. But yeah, I'd bench Madueke, put Neto on the right and Sancho on the left.
Okay. Let's go down the middle now. We're looking at Cole Palmer. Let's start with Tyrone. I mean, how did you think he played?
Palmer has been a difficult couple of matches now. I don't know. Well, in this match, if it was a case where he perhaps wasn't at full sharpness in terms of fitness, because even after the game, he was limping. But he was trying to do what he normally does in terms of trying to create, trying to score goals, trying to let things happen. There was a few times I would say that his decision making was a bit off in terms of when he should have passed the ball, he opted to try to do a bit more work. And I think that was something that kind of slowed down the potential opportunities that we could have used to really be of danger to Arsenal. But I wouldn't say he was bad, but he wasn't the greatest in this match, and he was having a difficult time a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, do you agree with that, Leon?
Yeah, I do. I think in terms of Palmer, like you said, well, like the guy said, you know, he was limping afterwards. He has withdrawn from the England squad, so has Levi. And I think Arsenal are very, very good at being compact in defence. So it's quite hard to find spaces. I think, but I mean, we've seen Palmer with his free kicks. We've seen Palmer shoot from distance. We know he's capable. And I think yesterday, I think that knee was a massive problem for him, because even when he was just generally on the pitch, like half the time he was just jogging around. Do you know what I mean? Like he wasn't fully getting stuck in like the rest of the team was. He was sort of drifting a little bit, and it looked a bit weird to me. So I think that injury from the United game, I think, did bring him over to this game, and he was just off. Because I mean, even his shooting was off, and we've seen he can shoot from literally anywhere, and that outside the box, in the box, you know. And I think yesterday it was just off. But Arsenal are pretty difficult when it comes to defending, because they do get very compact. Obviously, the ball from Enzo was brilliant to Neto, but in terms of when Arsenal actually sit back, they are actually quite hard to sort of break down and find spaces.
Okay, Mohammed, I mean, what do you take from it?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like to this game, honestly, I felt like he wasn't fit. I still think the injury still kind of impacted him, because I still feel like that wasn't like the fully fit Cole Palmer that we all know, you know? Like, I feel like there's times where like Cole Palmer, like, you know, he would give like more intensity if he was fully fit, but like, you know, he couldn't do it. He can't do it because I feel like still the knee was bothering him. That's why he's not in the England squad. So
okay,
and it wasn't really his worst game. I felt like sometimes he was maybe a little bit too selfish, but I mean, he's Cole Palmer, so like I don't blame him. But I think we're probably going to see a better game for him with Leicester City, but especially with Thomas Partey, he's a physical, you know, DM. You know, he likes to get stuck in. So especially with Cole Palmer with the injury, I don't think he really tried to get in those like duels.
Fair enough, my friend. I mean, Yusuf, what's your take?
Yeah, not his best game, Cole Palmer, but not his worst. I will say that. Yeah, as a lot of people said, Arsenal are very hard to break down. I mean, I've seen many comparisons of Arteta becoming a Jose Mourinho type of manager. I don't want to hear that ever again, because the way Jose Mourinho defended back in the day is nothing compared to what Arteta is doing. I just don't want to hear that comparison again. But yeah, Cole Palmer, it was very difficult for him to try and get past these Arsenal midfielders. He did get past them on a few occasions, but yeah, that Lisandro Martinez incident that happened in the United game has definitely affected him. I do think after the international break, he'll kick on and give more better performances, especially that Leicester game. I'm excited to see what he does there. But yeah, I think with withdrawing from the England squad, especially Levi Cole as well, it was a good decision from them. Don't want to risk any injuries from them. And yeah, hopefully he can train well, rest up, and go again for Leicester City after the international break.
Okay, I mean, let's start with you, CFC man. I mean, what did you think about Nicholas Jackson's performance? Because I think that's really the second game now after United that he hasn't shown up.
Yeah, he hasn't really shown up this game, to be fair. I feel like during the Arsenal game, he was making a lot of runs in behind, but there was no one to really, you know, find him. Same thing with the United game. He's really just don't even say goes to the ball. I'm gonna have to, you know, but he's start of the season, off to a great start, smashing goals in, every other week. And yeah, nothing really to say. Just hopefully get a good performance in, against Leicester. And yes.
Okay. What about you, Anupa?
A bit of a quiet game from Nicholas Jackson. He did do some stuff that I was happy with. Like, he was driving in through Arsenal's midfield. They couldn't get a hold of him. They had to tackle him, I think, twice. We got 2 free kicks from that. Look, with him, all I'm going to say is I'm just happy with the way he's improving. With the striker, you're not always going to see the ball as often as we know Nicholas Jackson can do. Like, we're not going to see that Newcastle performance from Jackson where he's always dropping deep and connecting and driving, because this is Arsenal. This is Saliba, this is Gabriel. These are top centre backs. So it was a bit of a quiet game, but not too much to say. I'm not too disappointed with it.
Are you surprised that it took 87 minutes for Nkunku to come on?
Yes, because I just think Maresca needs to mix it up a bit, because especially with the way we're crossing the ball into the box. I mean, I feel like Nkunku is a better header of the ball than Jackson. And maybe there's just something... Say it again, sorry?
100%. I completely agree.
Yeah, so I just thought maybe we could just give him more time, because him coming on for those few minutes was a bit disappointing, in my opinion. But then again, yeah, what can you do about that?
There you go. I mean, Getz, where do you stand on it? Would you have started Nkunku in this game? I mean, I think that he could have certainly made an impact coming on earlier, but maybe there's another side to it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you could make the argument with Nkunku, but I still would have started Nicholas Jackson anyway, just because of what he offers. In terms of Nicholas Jackson today, I thought Gabriel and Saliba did very well against him. And they kind of nullified him, similarly to Palmer as well, like with Partey and Declan Rice in midfield. I think their structure really nullified their game. And yeah, it's hard to gauge Jackson when he's not. I haven't seen him do a lot in this game. He did drive into the box. He did get 2 fouls. Like, you can see what Jackson can do. Yeah, it's an interesting one with Nkunku, because when you're subbing off Nicholas Jackson at say you sub off Nicholas Jackson at an earlier time, like, you would probably have to kind of change up your kind of game plan, because not the entire game plan, because I'm talking about when Nkunku comes on, he's a different player style to Jackson. So how do you adapt to when Nkunku comes on the pitch with he's a strong player, he's a good finisher. Jackson is a dribble on the ball, he holds up play well. Like, it's an interesting forward line we have. I do hear I do hear that Nkunku should have come on earlier. But yeah, I think Jackson could have done a little bit more. But
he definitely could have done more. Otherwise, I wouldn't be complaining.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, but yeah.
All right, let's hear from Tyrone.
No.
Yeah, I think in terms of the points that were raised, Jackson really, he didn't really make much of an impact. He got the free kicks that nothing really came out of those, which isn't fault of his. But I think it's a case where, when you talk about how compact Arsenal's defense have been, that is a perfect example of it. They did have a difficult time because, you know what? Actually, if I take into account the fact that he did do something, I mean, he kept the defense occupied, but at the same time, by doing that, he was nullified because he wasn't able to make much of an impact otherwise. But by being the targeted player, that gave space to other players like Neto and Madueke, who perhaps didn't really have the greatest of game. But even then, he did do that. He had somewhat of a role that I saw Werner have in the past, and that in itself, it's good, but at the same time, he needs to be putting the ball into the back of the net. And I can't think of any opportunity that he really had where he missed it or anything. I don't really think he had any chance that was created for him it's not coming to me now, but I don't think there's anything that would have said, okay, he could have done better here in terms of chances. But in terms of what he was trying to do, somebody mentioned about keeping the midfield occupied and, you know, giving them a hard time to bring him down rather than, you know, dispossessing him. So I think that is always a positive, but I think it's down to how compact Arsenal have their defense.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely defended well. I'm with you on that. Does anyone have any final thoughts sort of on this game, or is there an area that you wanted to quickly touch on? I'll leave it open, panel guys. If you want to say something, just let me know. Because in terms of player by player, I think we've covered it. Obviously, we've got what's his name, Enzo as well, and Nkunku. We could talk briefly about them, but I mean, I don't really have a lot to say. I think that they were all right when they came on. Not massive talking points. Does anyone have any particular player or subject that they think is relevant?
Yeah, I want to say something real quickly. It's about Sanchez.
Okay.
If I'm trying to be completely honest with Sanchez, if we have this guy in goalkeeper this whole season, I genuinely think we won't make. He will be the reason we don't make top four, because that goal near post, like, it's common knowledge. You're supposed to guard that near post. Martinelli couldn't even put a ball in. Only Saka was there, and there's like 3 players next to him. Martinelli only had one option, and was to try to score from there. And Sanchez made it so easy, making it like a big hole in that near post when he was supposed to be covering that. Like, we genuinely, either we test Philip Jorgensen some games. Like, honestly, if our Enzo Maresca, Leicester City, they're not really that good. I feel like Philip Jorgensen, give him a chance that game, see what he does in an actual Premier League game. And if we see, oh yeah, Philip Jorgensen, he's not ready to play in Premier League games, then we need to bring in another goalkeeper, because there is no way I can see Sanchez as our starting goalkeeper this whole season, because either we make top four like barely and concede like 500 goals, or we get a new goalkeeper and at least, I don't know, get top four convincingly, or like get a 3rd place finish.
Fair enough. And anyone else have anything that they want to mention?
I mean,
you can go. You can go ahead.
No, you go first, man. You spoke. Go for it.
All right then. I mean, yeah, I wasn't here when we talked about Sanchez. Well, yeah, I want this guy sold. Simple. Like, I would start Jorgensen at this point. Like, I know there is doubts around him, but I do want to see Jorgensen to see how he adapts to the first team. But the main talking point it's kind of a minor talking point, but Reece James, like, I was a little bit surprised when he didn't start this game. I thought it might have been an injury or a fitness issue that he might have not started, and Gusto was playing there instead. So, and like, I mean, Reece James is difficult when you started him a left back to like load his work rate throughout the game, but when you have Cucurella there, I'd rather have him start. We haven't really seen Reece James in an inverted position. We saw that in preseason. I didn't really like it, and yeah, I was just mainly surprised that Reece James didn't start. But I could understand why you maybe load management. But yeah, I didn't understand Reece James, to be honest. If he was fit, then I would probably start him over Gusto.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Who else had something that they wanted to say?
Right, I wanted to ask a question about the whole goalkeeper option, because I think somebody mentioned this earlier when we were talking about Sanchez, but do you think that Jurgensen or any other goalkeeper will get an opportunity? Or rather, let me ask the question a different way. Do you think Sanchez will ever get benched, or is it going to be only if he gets injured? Because I think that would have been the case last season.
I think that if Maresca doesn't drop Sanchez this season, I mean, really, we're looking around January, February, because I think that's probably when he would do it. If he doesn't do it, then I think it is a sackable offence. I think it's that bad. How can you have such a how can you be so well renowned for your coaching ability and like you can't even pick a goalkeeper who's competent? We have so many keepers. Just put Jorgensen in. He's literally got the best statistics in La Liga. I don't understand. We had the best goalkeeper in the MLS with Petrovic last season. And we're looking at signing another keeper. We've got Mike Penders, who I'm sure has one of the best stats in, I can't remember what league Penders came from, but I'm sure he
Belgium league, yeah.
Belgium one of the best stats in Belgium.
Belgian Bruges,
but it doesn't mean anything if they don't get a chance. So I don't understand the logic behind it. Sanchez was never even signed to be a first-team goalkeeper. He was meant to be a bloody second choice. I think it's ridiculous, to be honest. But I mean, has anyone got any answer to that?
I mean, I think that the season that Petrovic had last and him just getting kind of shipped off was a bit kind of uncalled for, to be honest. I know I was always the unpopular opinion on Lewis's stream, but like the club's deal with Chilwell, I think is just kind of real unfair. Like, I understand the injury record, and I understand his blunders, but I mean, if he gets to play one game and then not start for ages and then does get injured or doesn't get injured, he has no match sharpness whatsoever, and I don't think people really understood that fully. That you can't just come on, you just don't play football, go on the pitch and think that, you know, you're going to be the best left back ever, right? It's just not going to happen. You need a lot of match fitness in game time, because it's not the same as training. And I think Chilwell I love Vega, don't get me wrong. I think Vega's done really well. I think he's definitely a player for the future, for sure. But it's just harsh to see, even in Conference League games, that Maresca's just like, yeah, Chilwell, just leave the club. Like, he said that in an interview as well. He said, I told him, and I think it was Chukwuemeka. He was like, he wanted them to leave because he was like, you're not going to play for us. You're not really going to get game time here.
Not in the plans.
And
just to back up on your point, basically they're just not in the plans. I don't think. Like, I mean, with Chukwuemeka, like, there like so many golden opportunities to sub him off, subbing on for other players, like sometime during other games, but he didn't sub him off. So I think the logical conclusion is that they're just not in the plans, and I expect Chukwuemeka and Chilwell to be sold in January. Like, if you're not in the plans, then why are you here? Chilwell's on high wages as well. Like, it's hard to make a case Chilwell staying much longer, especially when you have Renato Vega, especially when you have Cucurella. Cucurella's been phenomenal, and they're gone for me.
If you think like, because you know our injury record is kind of ridiculous, especially when it comes around December time. Like, say Cucurella does get injured, hope not, but let's just say he does. Do you think Vega would be enough to back up for the big teams later on down the line if Cucurella was out long term? Or would you rather have Chilwell there as a backup for experience?
I mean, here's the thing, right? It's not just Cucurella that you can really back him up with if he does get injured. You can make a suggestion for Reece James playing at left back again, because I wasn't really I've heard people say about Reece James at left back. I think he was actually pretty decent. Like, I would rather start him on the right, obviously, because he's more suited on the right. But if he can play there, and well, why not? I don't mind Reece James playing at left back, especially if it's not like workload related issues. And Gusto can play on the left back, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not either. Yeah, absolutely not.
You see him blaze the ball over the bar because he's not that footed. Yeah.
Oh, mate. But yeah, like Reece James, I've seen him at left back, and I think he's nearly had 2 man of the match performances against Newcastle. At least he was like superb, but mostly at left back. Against United, he was brilliant at left back as well. When did Cucurella come on for a left back and Reece James shifted to the right? Yeah, he was really, really good against United at left back. So in that case, if Cucurella does get injured, big if, but yeah, I would put Reece James at left back. I would obviously like think about Renato Vega as well. Like I do rate him as like a left-sided player. Like I think he's a good passer. I think has got good aggression, but I think he's got the same issue as Colwill in terms of like experience. I think that's just the main thing. I think that's just the main issue with Vega, and he just kind of gets lost in some games. But I like Vega, so I'm not really concerned about the left back position when we got a few other players. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
I mean, like it's not. I mean, you probably see from the profile picture anyway. But I do literally see Levi quite a number of times because he does own. Well, he does. He's a huge part of a club down here in Hampshire. And he always goes to the ground when he's free. So me and my uncle go there, and my uncle knows his family really well. And I sort of spoke to him when I was last there, and I said to him, like, you know, what did you think of being left back last season? Because I really want to know, because I think he grew into it quite well. But he said like he quite enjoyed it. He said like, if the manager wants me to play there, then I'll go there. But he obviously wants to be in the centre back role. But he did say he'll play any position that the club wants him to. So that does show a lot of leadership from Levi there. And you could see on the Arsenal game, like you could see there was a moment where he was screaming at Sanchez, saying, "Give me the ball," and Sanchez was like, "No, I pass it the other way." And Levi would just like throw his arms up, and he was just so annoyed. So it'd be fun to talk to him about that. But from what I've heard from Levi with Maresca, it's a very different system to Poch. Very different. Like Maresca is very, very, very into tactics. Very into tactics. Like he's super, super technical. Whereas Poch was more organization. And there was quite a significant difference between obviously the two, like you could probably see. But yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. Like Reece James on the left, he can play, but I think it's the club's priority to make sure that Reece plays one game, and he can't start all the time. So if Cucurella does get injured, then I don't think the club would really like want Reece James to be like, yeah, you go left back now. I think that's why he didn't start against Arsenal as well. It's because Maresca is also really cautious around him. But it is weird that he did start against Newcastle and not Arsenal. So
yeah. Well, listen, guys, we're gonna wrap it up there, all right? Because it's almost midnight in the UK. So I'm absolutely knackered. But listen, thank you so much, everyone that's been watching as well. I know we've got over 600 people watching on X and YouTube. Big up to everyone. Let's smash the like button if you haven't already. Does anyone want to say anything before we go? You can shout out your socials or whatever it is that you want to say.
You've got an X stream?
Yeah, man. We got one going on X as well. We got way more people on X. X is popping off. YouTube's a bit quiet today.
God damn.
Yeah, can I promo quickly?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah. I just wanted to give a shout out to my YouTube channel, World of Football. I did actually have a shout out with Alex after the Chelsea Barrow game. I think you remember that, Alex, don't you?
I do. Yep.
Yeah. So I would just like to just shout out that channel. Is it all right if I could just quickly show you the channel?
We don't have enough time to do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, just go and check out World of Football. Check out the channel. It's a good looking channel as well, guys. Check it out. Does anyone else want to shout anything out? No.
Yeah, I would like to show them something.
Oh, you could go first. You could go first.
Right. So I have a channel as well. It's called Chelsea Sessions. It's an analytical channel, and I discuss players and do tactical analysis as well.
Nice one. Well, check out. We've got World of Football. There's a link in there.
Yeah. I just put the link in there. Yeah.
Sessions as well. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I also have a quick promo. My YouTube channel is Gets Games. It's not a football channel. It's primarily on gaming content. If you want to have a little bit of a different change of pace, to be honest, you want to have a bit of be entertained by watching just a silly game of play, and yeah, just on here because I love Chelsea. I love the football. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Gets Games is a YouTube channel.
Nice one. Well, guys, always a pleasure. Thank you to everyone that's been watching. And listen, we'll be back very, very soon with another stream. In fact, I will be streaming tomorrow at about 9 o'clock, something like that, if I can get up. But yeah, probably about 9 o'clock. So if you want a morning stream, I will be up in the morning and we'll be going through the latest Chelsea news. But apart from that, all the best, guys, and we will catch up very, very soon.